In this kitchen tutorial, we're going to be showing how to properly activate nuts. The importance of activating nuts is because they contain something called phytates, which in their raw form, when we eat them, they can block vitamin and mineral absorption in our stomach, both with getting the vitamins from the nuts as well as the other foods that we're eating alongside the nuts. So proper preparation of all nuts, seeds, grains, and legumes is to soak them so we can break those phytates down. So we're going to work with just almonds today, and I'm going to show you both how to activate almonds properly as well as how to dress them up so they're tasty for us to eat once they're activated. So I'm just going to show quickly one brand of almond that I work with at home. Anything will work as long as it's organic and raw. That's the highest quality nut that you want to look for if you're going to the grocery store or ordering through an online forum like Amazon. So we're going to be working with some almonds that I've already added some water to. So these are almonds that have been covered in water. Usually when you soak them, you want to soak them, I tell people, overnight. So at least 8 hours, pretty much overnight if you can soak them for a while. All right, so the next step after we've soaked these almonds is we are going to strain them through a sieve. And once they are in the sieve, we're going to give them a good rinse. I'm going to clean them off a little bit. And next, they are ready for the drying phase. I work with a dehydrator. Mine is pretty simple, so I'll kind of show you what I do here, but I'll just kind of grab them and put them on the first level of my dehydrator here. I line my dehydrator with some parchment paper because it just kind of helps for the cleanup and makes it easier for me to keep the dehydrator clean as I use it over time. So this is about a good amount to start with on one level. You don't want to overcrowd the almonds because it'll just take longer to dry them. So I would start with about that much. And then even if I'm only using one tray of my dehydrator, I'm going to put the whole thing together like so. And mine is a real simple Nesco brand. It's just got an on-off switch, so I just turn it on and it's running. It's kind of noisy, so I'll turn it off right now. But typically, if I'm going to dehydrate these almonds, this amount will probably only take about an hour and a half, 2 hours. If you're doing a bunch of trays, it could take up to 3 or 4 hours. So this is just something that you want to check every hour, a couple of hours, just to see how dry the almonds are. Once they've been dried, we are ready to do some fun things with them. So we're going to work with kind of two different recipes here. So here are some activated almonds. You can see they're dry. These are small batches, so we're going to make kind of a small batch of each type of almond. One recipe is going to be more of a savory, and the other one is going to be more of a sweet type of almond. So for the savory one, we're just going to work with that one first. I'm going to be using something called coconut aminos, some olive oil, and for the olive oil, you want it to be good quality, cold pressed olive oil. Dark bottle is great, then you know it's most likely good quality because it hasn't been exposed to light. And then a little bit of rosemary spice. So this is a pretty good recipe for people who have any food sensitivities except obviously nuts. So people who have any kind of candida overgrowth problem or dysbiosis, the coconut aminos is great because it doesn't act like vinegar in the body, and it's usually well tolerated by people who've got lots of different sensitivities to dressings and things. So what we're going to do first is we're going to actually move the almonds, or grab another bowl because we're going to kind of mix these things together. Normally when I cook, I don't measure, so I'm going to kind of measure to give you some exact idea of quantities here, but this is going to be a little bit of a kind of on-the-fly thing. So for a small amount of nuts, I'm just going to use, I've got a half tablespoon spoon here, so we're just going to use a little bit of olive oil, kind of pour that in there. And that looks good. We can always increase if there's not enough. If we've got too much, then we've got too much and sometimes need to start over. And then equal parts, so we'll just do a half tablespoon of coconut aminos. Put that in there. And then with the rosemary, you can kind of just eyeball this one a little bit I just kind of sprinkle some in, maybe about that much. And then I'm gonna grab a spoon here, kind of whisk this together, mix it up. And then I'm gonna go over to my bowl of almonds here and kind of pour everything in there, scrape it in. Normally if I'm doing this in a really big bowl, so we're using a lot more of this. And then with the spoon, I kind of just mix it up. The idea is you want to coat the almonds with the mixture here, but obviously you don't want to drench them. This particular recipe tends to get a little sticky depending on how much liquid is on the almonds, so when you go to bake them, just making sure you kind of spread them out is a good idea. Okay, so we've got this first batch ready to be baked. I'll move this off to the side. Okay, and then with this other small batch of almonds, we are gonna do our sweet recipe. And I'm just gonna use a small bowl here, another small bowl to mix up the liquid ingredients. Okay, on this side we're gonna work with, I'm gonna just rinse the spoon here real quick. We're gonna work with coconut oil, which I've already got in liquid form. So it's winter right now, so typically this is solid, but I heated it on the stovetop, so it's liquid. We definitely want it to be liquid when we're doing this. Same thing, putting like a half tablespoon of the coconut oil. And by the way, there's a half cup of almonds in each of these two small bowls, just for those of you who want exact quantities. I'm just gonna, a couple shakes of sea salt into the coconut oil. And then with the cinnamon, same thing, just a little bit of cinnamon in there. And then I've got this vanilla stevia. So this is gonna sweeten the liquid. And stevia is a really sweet herb if you've never worked with it. A little bit goes a long way. You don't wanna add too much stevia or it's really overpowering and doesn't taste very good. So we're gonna do maybe like 3 drops of stevia. And then same thing with this one, we're gonna just mix it up, kind of like so. All right, and then same thing, we're gonna kind of pour it in with the almonds here. And stir it up so the almonds are coated. All right, and so now both are ready to go. So if I was gonna bake these, what I would do next is just get a baking pan out and, put it down, line it with some parchment paper, and then literally, with these, we've got 2 different recipes. I could just put one on one side, one on the other side, and kind of spread them out on the tray. I'm not going to do this right now because I don't have my oven set, but what I would do is have the oven preheated to 350 degrees, and then with the almonds spread on the tray, you could put it in the oven, and then I would let it go for about 15 minutes and kind of check, stir them around, and then if it seems like they're still just a little bit damp, maybe give it another 5 to 10 minutes. With this recipe, I found that the almonds are still damp when you pull them out. The main thing is you don't want to overcook them and burn them. So even when you pull them out, if they still look kind of damp, they feel kind of damp, just let them come to room temperature, and they'll kind of get a little bit more solidified, or that dampness will go away. They can get kind of sticky. I'll kind of show you a batch that I made earlier that's done, so you can kind of see they're a little shiny. This is the rosemary recipe, the savory one I just showed you how to make. It's pretty tasty. They're a little sticky when you actually go to eat them, but really good almonds. So hopefully this tutorial has been helpful, and thank you very much.